never, ever co-sign for anyone. I'm going to explain to you my reasons why I believe that is the best scenario for you, as well as I'm going to explain one reason why it may be okay. So stay tuned. My name is Jay, and welcome to Ask a Debt Collector. Now, I've been in the debt collection industry for over 15 years. I've done it all, from skip tracing to collecting to management, and I've owned 2 debt collection agencies. For the past 8 years, I've been the go-to guy for friends and family for questions regarding debt and credit, and now I want to be that person for you. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions. Let's go. Okay, you guys, be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel as I'm bringing you more and more content. This week, I'm excited. It's one of the first times now I'm starting to get a little more organized with the videos that I'm going to provide. We got a good setup for you guys to actually watch. So be sure to like and subscribe. Now, the reality is co-signing for people is a thing, right? A lot of times what happens is one person's credit is not so good, or they don't have any credit established, so they go to somebody they know, typically friends or family, to co-sign for them. In the beginning, it always starts out cool, like, hey man, hey, this car, I want to buy this car, I just don't have no credit, or my credit's messed up. Can you co-sign for me? I promise I'm gonna take care of the payments. I promise I'm gonna do everything that takes care with regards to that. And 90% of the time, especially depending on how long the duration of that loan is, and typically it's co-signing for a car, 60 months, chances are, if that person has had bad credit and has a bad history of making payments, or if they have no credit established and you just don't really know, chances are they will default. And what happens is, not only do they go after that person, but they go after you as a consumer. As the co-signer, I'm sorry. And the reality is, you as a co-signer, the reason why you signed, most likely, is because you had better credit, you had a little more, you had some assets, or you were working. And when push comes to shove, they're gonna go after the co-signer, because chances are the other person's information or whatever the situation is was bad in the first place, and that's why they needed you. Now, let me tell you some reasons why I believe you should never co-sign for someone. Number one, it breaks up trust and relationships between two people. Being in the debt collection industry, I've seen this thing tear apart friendships and tear apart families. The reason why is because of the scenario, right, that I stated before. One person with bad credit, one person with good credit. The person with good credit says, hey, in the small print, if this person defaults on these payments, I will become liable. A lot of times when people co-sign, they're not thinking about, well, what will happen if they don't pay the payments anymore. They're always thinking, well, hey, I'm doing this to help you out, make sure you pay the payments. But a lot of times you got to look at the whole full scenario, right? Another thing that happens when this co-signing thing happens, once that person stops making the payments on the car, let's say for instance, not only does it mess up their credit, which was probably already messed up, it messes up your credit as the co-signer, right? And so then when it comes time to buy something or get something, it's gonna mess it up. Now I have to tell you a little story. When I first got in the debt collection industry back in like 2003 or 2004, I was dating a girl at the time. I remember going down to Carl Dodge, and we financed cars. Obviously, my credit was, I didn't have anything established. I had a few medical bills, and this girl at the time had good credit. The way that they did is they got us 2 cars. I got a Nissan Altima with 20-inch rims. She got a Jeep Grand Cherokee. And, you know, we financed the cars. Both the cars were financed in her name. They did them both in her name, not in my name at all, due to the fact that her credit was good. I don't know how this guy pushed 2 car loans at the same time and got it through. We got approved for them. Obviously, the interest rates were good. Let's fast forward about a year now. Now I think I have a grasp on the debt collection industry. I'm looking at stuff and I'm saying, oh, wow, people, you default on your loans It goes to collections, and then you get a better deal. So me and this girl sort of kind of broke up, but I told her, hey, I'm not going to pay the payments on this car no more. I stopped paying for about 6 months. They were contacting her. She just said that she didn't have the car. She didn't know where the car was, whatever she told them. And so it ended up messing up her credit. But my thought process was, hey, once it goes to collections, I'll call them up because of what I was doing in collections a little bit at that time span, and I'll get them to settle for half of the balance is what I thought was going to happen. Now, about 2 months into 6 months of not paying, 2 months after the 6 months, she ends up getting in a car accident. Her car was totaled. Good thing is her insurance paid that one car off. So she wanted to go and try and get another car. The problem was, because of the car that I had that was defaulted on the payments, her credit was shot. We ended up having to voluntarily give up the car. It messed up her credit. We already weren't getting along, so this just added to the situation, and it made things worse. Co-signing is a big no, even for me at one time. And those are the two main reasons. Obviously, you could break up relationships. It's going to mess up your credit. Obviously, if the co-signer has assets, they can even go after those assets. They can even garnish your wages. A bunch of things can happen with regards to co-signing. Now, the only rule that I'll state where you co-sign for somebody is this. If you can afford to pay the actual loan off and you have the cash, you better have it in the bank. You set it aside and you can do that. Or if you go through your monthly budget and at the end of it, there's enough to actually cover the monthly payments in case the person you co-signed for doesn't make the payments, you have the money to actually pay it. Obviously, you don't want to tell that person that you have the money, but you better have it. And you better stay in contact with that person, because if they default, typically when someone defaults and they have a co-signer, they're not going to say nothing until it's too late. So you got to keep in contact with the person, maybe have it set up where you have a rapport with the actual loan and you know exactly what's happening. If a payment is late, you know, so that you can take care of it. Obviously, with co-signing for your kids, same situation. Just make sure you can actually pay the payments, and then it's okay. Other than that, never co-sign for anyone. Now, like I stated, as a debt collector in general, we like co-signers because not only is it one person for a chance to get the money and to collect on, it's always two. And a lot of times, me as a debt collector, I would pressure the co-signer because the co-signer is the one with the good credit and so forth, and hopefully they can get the person that they co-sign for to pay. So again, never co-sign for somebody unless obviously you can afford to pay the payments or afford to pay that actual loan off for that person. Otherwise, don't do it, because chances are you're going to get in a lot of trouble. Now, if you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, you be great.